Hear me out. What if Bruce Lee was a K-pop star? If you don't already know, wuxia is a genre of Chinese martial arts action, and it also loosely extends to Korean martial arts at this point as well, but I digress. Action idols is just that. Idols, but also martial heroes. Action idols, if you will. Now, if you aren't already drawn in by the art style or the plot, then maybe you will be interested in the artist, Kim Dong-hoon. You may have heard of some of his other works, like Hoarding in Hell or Veritas, which I made a video on right here. This is yet another one of Kim Dong-hoon's projects, cancelled projects I should say. You see, there's a little something called the Kim Dong-hoon effect, it seems, as I have dubbed it. The effect is that all of his manhwa get cancelled after a disagreement with each author he works with. However, one of the many works that came out of this is Action Idols. If you're a fan of stories like Veritas, the Breaker series, or even more modern series like Elicid, then you should definitely check this out. If you aren't gonna check it out, then stick around while I go through it. Spoilers warning, by the way. Our main character is this guy, Yoon Jung-woo, possessor of the Divine God Hand. What is the Divine God Hand? Well, don't worry about that, we'll get to it later. Jung-woo transfers to the same school as our female lead, Han Jenna. On their first day, Jenna mistakes Jung-woo for a sunbae, a senpai, a senior at her school to be. They tour the facilities, and while doing so, Jung-woo accidentally breaks the panel to get into the locker rooms. A moment after checking it out, Jung-woo ditches Jenna, who is promptly caught by the staff that was alerted by the building's security system. Jenna is reprimanded in the principal's office and is dismissed. As she ends up at her new homeroom, she meets Jung-woo once more, who reveals himself to be a transfer student alongside Jenna. They roughly introduce themselves to the rest of the class, and Jung-woo picks his seat. As soon as he does, the entire class is on alert, as he sat next to someone important, or rather, dangerous. This is Aiden. Aiden's lackeys start to get up, but Aiden tells them to chill.
Alright everyone, chill.
Jung-woo can sense the tension but is blissfully unaware of the situation. After class, Se-in, who sits next to Jenna, takes it upon himself to teach the customs of the school to the transfer students. They also later interchange Se-in with Shane, so if I switch it up, just know I'm referring to this dude. He warns Jung-woo that who he sat next to is Aiden, one of the special martial arts students who is admitted into the school. They are given special privileges like not having to wear their uniforms. However, more importantly, they have ranks. So even something as simple as sitting next to a martial arts student could be taken as a threat to their ranking and standing. As Shane is warning them, Aiden's lackeys pull up on them, and as they are intimidating the squad, it's unexpectedly Jenna who steps up. She stops the first guy's blow and hits him with a heavy counter right to the pit of his stomach. His black-haired buddy tries to back him up, but in the next move she blasts the guy away and lays him out flat. She rushes the last and biggest of the lackeys and makes him crumble to his knees with a single punch to the sternum. Meanwhile, Aiden himself is training. He is focused and disciplined. While he's training, he's visited by another action idol, Tyrell. He tells him that he heard his underlings got their asses kicked and tells Aiden to take care of it if he still wants to be an action idol, before he himself has to step in. Our main characters are all eating lunch. They try to plan so that they can get the martial arts students off their backs, but Jenna stands up and says that she will fight whoever challenges her to a duel, and walks away. Shane explains to Jung-woo that some people are like that. Their international school has pretty famous action idols, martial artists sponsored by a clan. Some people who are not fortunate enough to have a clan transfer as normal students and challenge existing martial arts students to prove themselves and to be recruited into a clan, thus becoming action idols themselves. Jenna at this time is reminiscing about advice her older brother gave her. While she's doing so, Tyrell's lackeys lure Jenna to the school gym in order to teach her a lesson. Jenna is unfazed and doesn't back down, saying that she is excited to take down Tyrell next. One of Tyrell's lackeys wraps her whip around Jenna's ankle and throws her against the wall. The match is a bit of a stalemate as Jenna is able to dodge or block most of the two girls' moves. However, during the match, she drops her pendant, and Tyrell notices and picks it up, asking how she is related to Han Shin-woo, the fallen legacy, the hero that crumbled, the shame of idols. She tells him to stop talking shit about her older brother and charges him, and during this confrontation, Jung-woo is confronted by Shane in an alleyway as he hears him say over a phone,
"If something seems problematic, I'll get rid of every person in this school and everyone who's involved with it."
Shane confronts Jung-woo after hearing this, and after pressing him for information, he caves and tells him that he was hired by Jenna's grandfather to protect Jenna. Speaking of, Jung-woo put a tracker on Jenna and sees that she is currently fighting, or at least moving erratically, and ushers Shane to follow. The reason he was hired was because they were afraid that Jenna would face the same fate as her brother. Han Shin-woo died of a drug overdose. However, Jenna's family believes that this was no mere accident. Jenna, who is currently facing Tyrell throwing insults, stands up saying her brother was the greatest martial artist of his age, and she is proof of that. Tyrell's lady lackey charges Jenna, and she dodges them and bum rushes Tyrell, but Tyrell, who is prepared and much stronger than Jenna thought, dodges and fiercely counterattacks. He walks over to the collapsed Jenna and says that it's over.
"Once an idol falls, they can never fly again."
Suddenly, Jung-woo and Shane burst onto the scene, and they recover Jenna.
"Look closely. I'll show you a whole other world, apart from this action idol nonsense."
Jenna interrupts and pulls Jung-woo's hair, and while Jung-woo is briefly distracted, Tyrell attacks. Jung-woo easily blocks his kick and pushes Tyrell back. Tyrell launches a fierce onslaught of blows, but Jung-woo, unfazed, blocks everything with ease. Jung-woo pretends to be backed into a corner. Those who don't know what real defeat is always tend to drop their guard when they think they'll win no matter what. He seizes that opportunity and counters with a big uppercut. Tyrell is KO'd.
Fatality.
Jung-woo is then brought into the principal's, where it seems the principal has already been informed of the best secret bodyguard in Bangkok, Jung-woo. However, he didn't expect him to be this strong. Jung-woo keeps his response neutral but truthful. "I lived in a rough world after my father passed away, and I had to do anything to survive." Jung-woo is warned that things are not so simple around here, and is dismissed. He meets up with Jenna and Shane, who are eating in the cafeteria. Shane puts his favorite idol news streamer, Skypig, and they check out SOA, Sound of Action, Skypig's show, for the latest action idol news. However, as they tune in, Skypig is talking about none other than Jung-woo, our rising star. You see, the Lotus Clan, Tyrell's sponsor, didn't take the defeat of their idol so well. So here they come, guns blazing, cars, choppers, and the whole 9 yards. Out of the choppers comes Jin Cheon, the manager of the Lotus Clan's idols, and an action idol, Mo Hae-rin, the Stormflower. The squad tries to sneak away while everyone is distracted. However, they are quickly pointed out and must flee. They lose them, and while they're hiding, Jenna decides to be bait. Jenna says that he protected her last time, and with this, she will pay him back. She sprints off to distract the pursuing forces. Shane calls out Jung-woo and tells him that he should really reconsider his methods, because he may be putting her in more danger just by having a job to protect her. Jenna is easily able to slip past the small fry. However, Jung-woo and Shane are having a harder time avoiding eyes, as they seem to have become insta-famous. Shane realizes, wait, this means that the clan can also see them. And then Mo Hae-rin appears. The Stormflower appears. She's much quicker than expected and targets Shane. Jung-woo blocks the strike, but barely, and Hae-rin reveals that apparently Tyrell was her fiance. Nevertheless, the Stormflower is impressed that Jung-woo can keep up, especially given that she is a speed fighter. She continues to push Jung-woo back. However, as Jung-woo prepares a counterattack, she suddenly closes her eyes and stops. She looks back at the onlookers and addresses them, saying that this should be proof enough of Jung-woo's strength. Jung-woo asks who she's talking to, and Hae-rin invites Jung-woo to meet the person if he comes with her right now. He rejects, and she tests to see if his response will be the same if she has a hostage. She rushes Shane, but Jung-woo is done and stops holding back. He launches an attack that seems slow at first, but as it collides, it sends the Stormflower flying backwards. Perhaps by coincidence, they check to see if she's okay and notice that she has been knocked into the broadcast room for SOA, the Action Idol's news stream. The lights come on and they are confronted by the general manager, Jin Xion, and the Stormflower, who seems to be relatively unharmed, along with a bunch of suits.
Fast judgment, that instinctive movement when you're faced with something outside of your expectations. And lastly, that sudden power. He passed every test.
Apparently, Haerin being Tyrell's fiance was a lie, and this was all an elaborate setup. This was all apparently a test to see if he is worthy of taking up Tyrell's position as an action idol sponsored by the Lotus Clan. They want to scout Jungwoo. Jungwoo is dismissive and rejects at first, that is until Jenna appears. She lost the guards, then got herself lost for a little bit before making her way back here eventually. She tells the Lotus Clan that Jungwoo will accept and that Jenna is his manager, while Shane is part of his staff. Jungwoo initially tries to stop her, but she begs him to join because she has a goal: her brother. They agree, and Jungwoo will join under the condition that Jenna and Shane also get to tag along. With that, Jungwoo is officially scouted and now must pass a test in order to be recruited as a full-on action idol. In the meantime, you remember Aiden? Yeah, well, Tyrell's lackeys try to use him as a hunting dog and set him on Jungwoo, but it doesn't really go according to plan.
This is a world where everything is decided by martial arts. Regardless of what happens, the weak will get stepped on, and the strong will step on the weak for their own success.
Aiden vows to rip apart anyone who stands in his way, regardless of who they might be. The next day comes and the examination applicants are gathered in order to determine if either among them is worthy enough to become an action idol. Jungwoo tries to greet Aiden but is promptly rejected. The rules of the test are then explained by Manager Xion. Inside of the maze will be moving flags. All you have to do is obtain those moving flags. The maze will reconstruct itself every 3 minutes, and additionally there will be enemies inside that will try to obstruct your training. Each applicant will be evaluated on how fast they can obtain the flags. Applicants can also duel and subdue each other to prevent each other from winning or obtaining flags. Aiden, being rather unexpectedly sneaky, spotted a weakness in Jungwoo's fighting style and is aiming to fatally wound him so that he cannot go any further. The two enter the maze and the test starts. Aiden, pretty much immediately, tracks down Jungwoo and fights him, trying to confirm his suspicions. You remember the Divine God Hand? Yeah, it's a very rare and special constitution. People born with this type of body have energy martial artists could only dream of acquiring. But because it is so powerful, they can easily rupture their keypads if they don't control the energy's flow and output properly. Aiden has mistaken Jungwoo's careful usage of ki for him having little to no ki in his martial arts. Sure enough, Aiden believes that his suspicions are correct, as Jungwoo is still using very little ki despite being pressed. Confident, Aiden reveals that he knows and pushes Jungwoo back. Jungwoo still manages to counterattack and pushes Aiden away, right in time for the maze to rearrange itself. The two continue into the maze and they both encounter their second obstacle, the Sun Maze. The seniors. The Stormflower is the first to confront Aiden, and Jungwoo is confronted by another action idol named Lai Jin. The two are pushed back briefly, but both Aiden and Jungwoo are more alike than they think, and manage to impressively counter each of their seniors. They push them away and distance themselves just in time for the maze to once again rearrange, and so that they can keep pursuing the flag. This ticks off both of the seniors independently but simultaneously. Sure enough, they have access to the cameras in the maze, and each of them switches opponents. Haerin goes after Jungwoo, while Lai Jin goes after Aiden. This time, they aren't holding back. Aiden's chest is slashed as Lai Jin coats his hands in a strange aura. He tries to fight back, but ends up taking extremely severe injuries to his legs. The moment he gets up, nerve-severing levels of pain are going to shoot through his legs, and he may possibly ruin them beyond repair if he pushes himself too much. This is the end of Aiden's test. Jenna, who had been observing and communicating with the Manaji, Jungwoo, racks her brain, but not because it was particularly powerful or anything, but it's a strange technique. Meanwhile, the Stormflower viciously assaults Jungwoo with a barrage of blows and backs him up against a wall. Jungwoo puts as much power as he can into his fist, and with the energy of the divine god hand, he repels Hae-rin and sends her flying. He immediately runs away, however, leaving Hae-rin wondering about that mysterious power. Although it seems that it came with a bit of a price for Jungwoo. And then, Lai Jin ambushes Jungwoo. Jungwoo manages to block the strike, however he is being worn down and doesn't have much left in him. Jungwoo attempts to finish this quickly and rushes Lai Jin, but he swiftly counters. Jenna finally recognizes the style he is using, Wind Pika. A Pika as in a spear that bullfighters use to weaken the bull and drain it of its blood. The Wind Pika defeats its opponents by cutting their muscles slowly, bleeding them out until they're helpless like a bull at the end of a bullfight. However, the technique is part of a rival clan's art. At this moment, a new character enters the viewing booth. This is Chief Sun-woo. He informs the general manager Shion that he's required for some business outside and lures him out of there. Sun-woo quietly orders Lai Jin to kill Jungwoo in order to get rid of their problem. Lai Jin slices Jungwoo's legs just like he did Aiden's, and right as he is about to go for the kill, he is unceremoniously kicked right in the face. Aiden appears, and not only did he walk over here with his injured legs, he even attacked Lai Jin. Jungwoo quickly convinces Aiden that both of them are on the ropes, and this test just needs to end, regardless of who gets to fly. Aiden is also on his last legs, even more so than Jungwoo. So Jungwoo will hold Lai Jin here, while Aiden goes for the flag. Aiden reluctantly agrees, and since Lai Jin was ordered to kill Jungwoo, he isn't going anywhere. Aiden limps away, bleeding, and Jungwoo stands his ground, bleeding. Chief Sun-woo tells Lai Jin to make sure Jungwoo will not be able to compete after this test's injuries. Jenna, who snuck up behind him and was eavesdropping, confronts the chief, who responds by knocking her out and jamming the communications in the room. Jungwoo, who doesn't know what's going on, hears Jenna get hurt and the communications cut. While he is flustered, Lai Jin takes this opportunity to give a swift heel kick to the side of Jungwoo's head. Back in the viewing room, the general manager comes back, right in time too, preventing any further mishaps. Who is still fighting Lai Jin, gets his classic I fight for my friends power up.
I
Fight for my friends.
Aiden has successfully reached the flag, crawling his bloody body all the way towards the end with sheer determination. Back in the viewing booth, the general manager questions and reprimands Chief Sun-woo. Suddenly, a huge explosion threatens to deafen everyone's ears. Manager Shion demands an explanation, but Chief Sun-woo says that wasn't him. As the live feed is restored, they see an immense amount of destruction and Lai Jin laid out on the floor. Jungwoo appears and collapses as soon as he sees that everyone is safe.
This will be left in history as the most impressive debuts amongst the idols. This manhwa is a great little short story, even if it never got onto its second season. I'm a huge fan of Kim Dong-hoon's art style and work in general. I'm not really a fan of the Kim Dong-hoon effect and the fact that all of the authors he works with stop working with him because of various disagreements. I'm a huge fan of wuxia and martial arts manga and manhwa in general, so if you're into stuff like The Breaker, then this might be a nice little short story to check out and to keep in your back pocket. What are some wuxia or martial arts manhwa or manga that you guys recommend? Comment down below. Thanks for watching.
やっぱさ、お前のテコンドー嫌いだわ俺。立て、手加減したんだ。
クシルガ
あいつ
選手番号41番ジン・モリ。他人の試合への介入は重大な規則違反です。このまま静かについてきてください。
それよりこの金髪ともっぺんやらせろ。
黙りなさい。
あの時と違う。
あの重いズボンを脱いだのか。
俺はあの時とは違う。はっ。
力が欲しいか。所詮クズに着力は使えんか。負け犬が。
ふざけんじゃねえ。俺だって